Hey, today we're gonna be making a game in 14 days, or so we thought. We coded, we built, we had our ups and downs, and all that work led us to this. Alright, my name is Swin, and joining me today is Mr. Coffin. Okay, now the challenge. We've been seeing lots of videos about people making games under a certain amount of time, and we wanted to give that a go. And that's what we're doing today. But with a twist, we don't know anything. We are complete beginners, and we've been learning the engine together. So, without further ado, let's begin the challenge. Here are some rules. Obviously, make a game in 14 days or less. Secondly, we can use any free assets we can find. And last but not least, all coding must be done manually. We don't use any AI or plugins, as those are cheating. And with that out of the way, let's see how day one went. Alright, day one. Game idea. Well, we kinda didn't really have one. Our main goal was just to make a horror game, and we know it's been done lots, but we want to make something that we were familiar with. So I ended up taking some inspiration from the game Labyrinthine, which is based on doing puzzles while trying to avoid monsters in a maze. So with that, we got straight to work. We started by building out our maze and figuring out how we wanted it to look. We wanted to make a solid foundation that we were just gonna use once and never have to change again. Not knowing much about environment and how to make them, we just went at it and we made this pretty solid maze. And we did end up spending all day one just building the maze, but we were okay with that because it gave us a solid foundation, as I said. Alright, so on day 2, we were getting our environment going, starting by finding our monster and player character and finding assets to use in our game, to adding lighting to find our style for the game. And we decided to stick with this kind of creepy, dark looking style. Everything was looking great so far and we were moving pretty smoothly. Alright, on day 3, since we started on a blank project, we wanted to build our movement from scratch. It didn't take long and it was pretty simple actually, and we had a movement system going pretty quick. We added our running and our crouching, and that was pretty much all our movement done. But then the struggle began. What the f? So yeah, we wanted to start adding animations. It didn't start out too bad because we found pretty good animations for our main player, but then trying to find animations for our monster was really difficult. And then to make it worse, our animations wouldn't work with our monster. And only after spending a whole day trying to figure it out, we asked the community Discord we're in, and they told us about something called retargeting animations. To quickly sum up what animation retargeting is, it's a feature provided with Unreal Engine 5.4 or above, where if you have an animation that has a skin and a skeleton, then you can use that to retarget, in other words, copy that animation you want to the character you want. There's lots of tutorials on it, and it completely saved us in this process, so I highly recommend you checking it out. Alright, starting our AI journey. It took us a whole 5 days to get our monster AI working. And in those 5 days, we did do the majority of the work for the monster. And it's all thanks to Ali Az-Zuhairi, because we just followed his AI tutorials and they were perfect. So we were pretty happy with our progress so far. And now let me explain to you how our monster works. Our monster walks on a set path. However, if he sees or hears you, he'll come after you. And you can only lose him if you go into hiding or get out of his sight. And if he catches you, then well... Alright, so on day 10, we wanted to implement our torch idea. But here is where a struggle really kicked in. Our torch would just be so glitchy and it wouldn't work like we wanted it to. Our flame looked terrible and the fire would just leave a trail that would blind you. And we spent all of day 10 and 11 trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, we never figured it out. So we scrapped the whole idea and just put a light on the torch and called it good enough. So on day 12, we finally started working on our puzzles. We wanted to make 4 puzzles. Each one, upon completion, rewards you with a code that you can later use to open the gate and escape the maze. We added some sound design, we added some effects, some particles, and we made them look pretty cool. We did have some issues with the puzzles here and there, but overall they were pretty simple, so we didn't have that many issues. And here was my first ever attempt at voice acting. The mirror in front of me is telling the truth. The mirror in front of me is telling the truth. Unfortunately, my day 13 footage was corrupted, but it kind of was the same as day 12. So we'll skip right over to day 14, the big day. We still had lots of work to do, so we got right into it. We fixed a whole lot of issues with the AI, we added our last puzzle, and we made the game look and feel better even. Yet still, that was not enough. The game still felt a little boring and it lacked a lot of things. And we still had some issues too with it. Like the monster still getting stuck on walls. And just by the feel of the game, there wasn't much to it. So to answer the question if we can make a game in 14 days, yeah, it works. You can play it and you've got a start and an ending. But we didn't want to stop there because we really liked this project so far, and how far we've come just from nothing. So, after long thought, we gave ourselves a few more days to finish it. So, we spent the next 3 days doing everything we can to make it feel better. I'll go over everything very fast so you don't have to wait any longer. Here's what we did in these 3 days. We added instructions, we added assets, we added sound effects, we added background music, and we added ambient effects too. We added particles, we added fog, we fixed some bugs. And finally, our game started to feel more like a game. We were really happy with the results, and it felt so good to actually make a game. From basically complete beginners to having an entire game with movement, environment, animations, and even AI. And so, with that being said, here's the trailer for the game. I hope you all enjoyed the video. We'd very much appreciate a like and a subscribe. Now, we still have a long way to go to making AAA games, of course, but we're very proud of our creation so far. And we would still love to hear your feedback on how we did and what we could improve on. And if you have any game ideas you want us to do, don't be afraid to leave that in the comments. And I would like to say a special thank you to all the people who made these free assets, because without them we couldn't have made this game. So I will be leaving a link to every single asset we used and sound down in the description. And if you'd like to try the game, it's also down in the description too.
You can't get in here, right?
He sure can.
Oh, shit! No, I can't.